Hello everyone! About a month ago, I posted a video about Motherland, Fort Salem, and House of Anubis, sharing the similarity of not having a fourth season. In this video, I'm talking about my favorite ship in the ladder show, Fabina, and the emotional highs and lows of it all. Before I go on with it, I have a photo of a TV show called Everyone Can See It on the House of Anubis, and it says, Fabian and Nina from House of Anubis embody this trope so much it's almost painful to watch. It gets to the point where the other students in the house, not to mention the entire fandom, are asking Fabian to please just ask her out already. This conversation alone proves it. And here we have Mick. So Fabian, who are you planning to ask to the prom? Amber, a certain playwriting scholarship student with a thing for antiques and apple pie? Mara, of course he'll be taking Nina, if he gets around to asking her. Fabian, I don't know what you're talking about. Me and Nina, we're not an item. I feel comfortable saying no one believes that for a second. Mick? Come on, everyone knows that you two secretly like each other. Well, not so secretly. Mara? Yeah, so when are you going to put Nina and the rest of us out of our misery? Starting it off is the day that Nina and Fabian first met. When the others, especially Patricia, assumed that Nina had something to do with Joy's disappearance, well, Patricia herself wasn't very happy, but Fabian was. He welcomes her in the best way he knows how, he lets her sit wherever she wants at the table, and checks on her when she gets emotional. One can convey that it's the age-old love at first sight mantra that we often see in TV shows and movies or read about in books. I mean, not even through the entire series opener, and he's already geared up in being Nina's knight in shining armor. In fact, a lot of Fabian's actions toward Nina were so noble, even my mom would be impressed. I know I was. And where I mentioned in my Motherland Fort Salem video I uploaded about a month ago about where I failed to realize that there was something going on between Nina and Fabian that had something more than friendship, the first season finale is where it jumped out at me, where the two gaze lovingly at each other, Fabian asking Nina to the prom, and sharing their first kiss. The third case, I got so enthralled by it, I excitedly shouted at the characters, "Do it again!" However, there was a scene in the third episode of the first season where the two study the picture of the girl in the locket, and Fabian says that the girl in the photo has the same pretty eyes as Nina. I mean, I should have guessed that it was something affectionate, but I guess I'm to believe that no one's ever heard a compliment before. I mean, they made people's days for crying out loud. You guys can clarify the affectionate moments that happened prior to the first season finale all you want. What I can tell you is that I was seeing the show in an entirely different light at and after the first season finale. Anyone remember, or has anyone seen my post about House of Anubis 10 days after Valentine's Day? Hold on. Here. One part I wrote on Nina and Fabian gazing lovingly at each other, not only was there a reunion to remember, it had me remember the first season finale. In a way, my heart and mind were saying, how could I mistake those facial expressions from the first season finale where they also gazed at each other so lovingly? Well, that's just it, I can't. I may have the post up where y'all can read, especially with this sentence I have the cursor right here, but I just want to say this. Second verse, same as the first. Believe it or not, that loving gaze and their almost moment were only the ingredients of this sweet romantic House of Anubis second season opener cake. The mixing of the batter and the baking in the oven part comes in when Nina and Fabian accept a double date with Mick and Mara at the movies. Nina and Fabian are apparently overjoyed to have a normal date. The icing on this sweet romantic House of Anubis second season opener cake is the scene toward the end of the episode where Nina and Fabian go on a romantic stroll to the Frobisher Library that's been closed for ages. Something worth noting is that wherever Nina goes, Fabian isn't too far behind. Adorable. That being said, it doesn't take long until they sneak into the library to where Victor and Mr. Sweets are searching for a book called The Book of Isis, and furtively dodge him like it's a game of hide-and-seek. I have to tell you, everything about the Fabina scenes in this episode were truly captivating, not to mention the experience of watching the episode as a whole, and I very much would like to commend the genius writers, producers, and directors behind the creation of this episode on a job well done. The second season opener of House of Anubis first came out as a premiere on January 7th, 2012. I remember that because it came on after a special 3D episode of iCarly that my mom, my younger brother, and I watched. When the iCarly episode was over, my younger brother and I got to watch the season preview, and I still remember as if it were yesterday. In fact, during the season preview, I started wondering what Nina's and Fabian's lives would be like now that they're a couple. The next episode has a scene of them having a date in the Anubis house attic.
I know it's not as good as movie and popcorn, but
look, it's perfect. If it wasn't for this attic, we might have never even got together.
I guess when you put it that way. And why did you follow me up here? It's supposed to be a date. Mm-hmm. Oh, sweet. Weird.
It wouldn't matter whether or not the location of the date has a romantic atmosphere or not, as long as two people love each other in it. If anything, they enhance the location's ambience. That being said, can two people in love not enjoy a marvelously romantic date uninterrupted anymore? Of course, where there are marvelous moments of Fabina, there are also some disappointing moments. It starts off with Joy lamenting on Nina stealing Fabian from her, only for Patricia to clarify that Joy herself and Fabian were never actually dating. I had plenty of reason to be relieved, but little did I realize it would lead to an escapade of a Fabina versus Jabian. Here, read this clarification up above. Those of you who are getting the insinuation that you're having bad feelings about, well, you should. It starts off at the episode where Joy asks Fabian to walk with her to school, only for the latter to fumble on letting her down easy. When I first saw this episode, I was thinking, what the heck? I thought Joy understood what Patricia told her a few episodes earlier. It gets worse when Joy and Patricia spy on the Fabina couple, with the former debating if she should tell Fabian how she feels. Do any of you really feel I was born yesterday? You can't declare your feelings to someone who is already taken. Besides, if Joy knew what the others in the Anubis house knew about Nina and Fabian, she would have been better off leaving them alone. However, when Patricia mentions Nina and Fabian having lots in common, Joy gets determined to have lots in common with Fabian too, much to Patricia's disappointment. And I even share her disappointment. Even more worse is that even Nina stipulated on Joy liking Fabian, leading Amber to ask if Nina herself liked him. I don't know where all this is coming from, but what it was telling me is that a doubt was creeping in, and doubt destroys what love builds. If you think I'm dishing up a whole lot of melodrama, take a listen to this. I once saw a YouTube video where two birds were in love, and the male bird was giving the female bird like the sweetest of gifts. I mean, it gets to the point where the female bird was starting to doubt his affection. I mean, it becomes so much so that on a cold day, they they decide to meet up at a tree to see who loves the other more. Well, get this. The male bird stays behind, tries bracing himself through the elements of the cold winter throwing at him. But of course, the female bird arrives to the tree the next day, and finds her partner on the ground, frozen stiff and dead. She sees a feather on the ground, seeing that not only was he not trying to prove his love, but proving that she shouldn't have doubted him to begin with. Now, I actually pity that female bird because I have the weirdest feeling she'll never regain her other half, all because she doubted him. There was also a horrifying feature at the last minute of the episode that had nothing to do with the escapade of a love triangle that is Fabina versus Jabian.
Why are you hiding from me?
I'm not. Listen, Victor's after something called the Book of Isis, and
You can't ignore me forever, Nina.
Who's ignoring you? I just have something important to tell you.
I said you can't ignore me forever.
Really, I'm not gonna lie here. Even though it was a disguise, having a really nice guy grab Nina's arm like that while instilling fear into her dare I even say this, and heaven forbid, a domestic abuser really made my blood run cold. Before I continue, I want to read something else I found when searching through the TV tropes. Here, this is a photo of a Steven Universe TV tropes from a section called Does This Remind You of Anything? And this circled bullet point here says Steven's reaction to the sinking of the Lars Sadie ship in Steven Universe Future seems to be a reference of how some fans react when their favorite ships get sunk. Taking it personally and feeling that they were entitled to some level of input in how to into how the ship pans out. Now that I've been watching House of Anubis online lately, that bullet point is way too familiar. Knowing all that, I really can't bring myself to watch the 5th episode of the 2nd season, or the rest of the 2nd season. I know what happens next. To do my best effort on sparing the agony to the Fabina shippers while trying to clarify something, there was a breakup between Nina and Fabian due to the most horrid of misunderstandings. I really don't know or remember what this misunderstanding was, and I really don't want to know or remember it. The love triangle between Fabina versus Jabin became more calamitous than before, and the Fabina breakup was exactly what I did not want to happen. Worth noting is that Joy tried playing dirty to get Fabian's affection by stealing Nina's mask in order to kiss him, and slandering her with an outrageous article. For those two more prominent dirty tactics, when she did the former, there's another name for it, and it's called sexual assault. When she did the latter, there's another name for it. It's called cyberbullying. Now, believe it or not, you can face consequences for those two things. Furthermore, when everyone else in the Anubis house, especially Fabian, find out that Joy was responsible for the outrageous article on Nina, unsurprisingly, they rightfully call her out in doing so. In my video where I talked about Carly's desperation on finding love, particularly the I Speed Date episode where she was trying to find a date for a dance, I mentioned that my dad once told me that desperation gets people in trouble. I feel that it should also include obsession as well, as I felt comfortable establishing Joy as obsessed with Fabian. A lot of you can look at me cross-eyed for this, but I didn't realize how justified my calling of Joy as obsessed was, not to mention my displeasure of the Fabina versus Jabin love triangle as a whole was, until I saw TV tropes of Joy. Right. These are the TV tropes that describe Joy to a T. Alright. Abhor and admire, as you probably guessed. The Betty and Veronica trope makes the whole thing with Joy trying to have lots in common with Fabian seem superfluous. Clingy jealous girls, you've probably guessed. Alright, same with green-eyed monster. Immoral journalist, as mentioned, how she wrote a scathing article about Nina. This whole insane troll logic one, where she thought that Nina stole her room and Fabian from her. This may say that she experienced trauma through her disappearance, but regardless, it's no excuse to give Nina the hardest of times when she didn't do anything remotely wrong to Joy in the first place. Of course, shipping torpedo goes without saying. And this trope. One thing I want to point out is, earlier in the video I talked about how the writers, producers, and directors behind the creation of the 2nd season opener were geniuses, so what I want to know is, with the calamitous love triangle coupled with the Fabina breakup, what not-so-genius writer, producer, or director dished those ideas up on the cold hard ground? However, there were hope spots within the 2nd season. One was that Nina and Fabian still had feelings for each other even after their breakup, and the second one was that Joy eventually understood that Fabian still had feelings for Nina and lets him have her. To continue with the former, it took forever in the 2nd season, but they finally get back together in the 2nd season finale. I still remember watching the 2nd season finale with my younger brother. Amber leaves Nina and Fabian alone, and they dance in the foyer of the Anubis house. It didn't take long for me to put two and two together, so I tell my younger brother, "Don't say anything, don't say anything," and he responds, "Emily, the only one who is talking is you." To be fair, I got excited, but I did stay quiet long enough to listen to the conversation between Nina and Fabian. Or might I say, a conversation? The latter tells the former that he was wrong to break up, and he also tells her that she's his chosen one. The two share a kiss and get back together, and everyone cheers for them. Is that not great? Then comes late 2012. My younger brother and I see promos for House of Anubis for season 3. I got curious because I somehow didn't see Nina. My younger brother assured me that she'll be there, but at the same time there had to be something I wasn't seeing. Upon watching the third season opener, I still don't see Nina, and I see Fabian incredibly irate and upset about something bad happening to Nina. As mentioned in my Motherland Fort Salem video from last month, I didn't see any more of the third season. However, I had imagined that Nina would return later in the season or toward the end of the season. And I held on to that belief for like a good 3.5 years. I mean, from where I was mentioning their little love engage back in the second season opener, I would have paid to see something like that in the third season. I mean, you've heard me saying second verse same as the first toward the beginning of the video, but like it would also be extraordinary to have a third verse same as the second and the first. It became so much so that Fabian would propose to Nina. Turns out all that was too much to hope for, now wasn't it? One day, 3.5 years after the third season, I was poking through some stuff online about House of Anubis, and I found out that Nina and Fabian were ex-lovers again because the former did not return to the Anubis house at all. An on-again, off-again relationship or a romance is something I can never truly understand. I mean, it's like a love at first sight mantra, like when Fabian first meets Nina. The first season builds up our desires for the Fabina relationship to happen, and we actually see it happen in the first season finale. Only for that to sour, like in the 5th episode of the second season, while leaving us a hope spot that the two would be a couple again. And when they get back together, it falls apart in the 3rd season. It's like a fluctuating elevator ride. I guess Natalia Ramos and Brad Kavanaugh, who portray Nina and Fabian respectively, as well as the writers, producers, and directors, feel it's real funny to build our hopes up for a big letdowns constantly. On that note, I give everyone who participated on the show a sarcastic hand clap for responding a beautiful romance that became something that made no sense make less sense. However, I shouldn't be too against the people who created the show. When I was looking up the Fabina ship, I saw something about Diane Whitley mentioning that Nina and Fabian reunite and rekindle the romance. Especially with this sentence here, for this startup for the relationship number 3. I mean, many can say that it's non-canon firsthand all you want, but it's all the reassurance I need to remain hopeful. In fact, I even hope for the day that I see them together again. Truth be told, I know a thing or two about hope. I remember being told that my name means my hope in Arabic, and I made 2025 the year of hope on my X account. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, press the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll catch you all in my next video.